I am somewhat obsessed with a few things in this world: travel and college football. And this week, those two things unite. Right behind me is Aviva Stadium, and tomorrow it is going to play host to an American college football game. One of these teams is the University of Nebraska, my alma mater, and the other one is Northwestern University in Chicago. These teams are relatively close to each other, less than 500 miles. So what are they doing playing a game 3,600 miles away? This isn't the first time a game like this has happened. The first college football game played in Ireland was in 1988 as a part of a promotional campaign for the city's 1000th birthday. Essentially, it was 1,000 years since this guy led the Gaelic conquest of the city of Dublin. The goal was to bring a major college football game to the city, mainly to attract some of the 31.5 million Americans of Irish descent. But other than the novelty of that, is it really worth it to play American football in Europe?
What do you know about American football?
There's a quarterback.
It's rugby with fucking the body armor.
It's Tom Brady.
American football is a great sport, and there are guys running from each side to the other.
American football? I don't understand.
The sport of American football has been gaining popularity in global markets and specifically in Europe. Around the same time that game was played in Ireland, the NFL invested into their own league in Europe. Well, in 1991, the NFL started a development league called the World League of American Football. And it was comprised of teams from the US, Canada, and Europe. It only lasted 2 seasons before taking a 3-year hiatus. It came back in 1995, and over the next 12 years, went through various relocations, rebrandings, and was the springboard that launched careers such as Kurt Warner, Adam Vinatieri, and Jake Delhomme. In 2007, it shut down for good, and that was the first year that the NFL decided to play one regular season game in Europe every year. That game was played in London and sold out in the first 90 minutes with over 1 million ticket requests. Ever since then, there has been a game played in London every year. This upcoming season, the NFL has 5 games planned to be played outside of US borders, 4 of them being located in Europe, and this will be the first year that an NFL regular season game is played in Germany. And I guess you could say that has been a long time coming, because Ticketmaster reported that they had over 3 million ticket requests for that game. So essentially they could have sold that game out 40 times over. The NFL just announced this year that they are going to roll out something they call an international home marketing area. And in reality, all that this is they have identified specific countries where they are going to market specific teams. And the reason for all this is because the NFL has kind of capped out in the United States. There's not a lot of room for growth. So now they're going to be looking to go abroad to grow their brand. The NFL's global growth is pretty obvious, and I would expect to see more games be taken to other countries and continents. And it makes sense because it's the highest level of that game. But something that I have found that doesn't really make sense to a lot of foreigners is the concept of college athletics. Or at least, why is it so popular in America? I mean, college athletes are typically 18 to 23 years old.
Especially for a 19-year-old.
They attend a college or university. They have to get good enough grades to remain eligible. Eligibility typically runs out after 4 years, and they're amateurs. They're not paid. So what is the allure of it all?
6,000 strong.
This is what makes college football so fun.
Let the party begin.
I love college football.
College athletics are different to American professional sports in a few ways. First off, they're tied to a school. And there isn't just the football team at these schools, there are other sports and other athletes. And there aren't just athletes, but there's an entire student body. The athletes are taking classes alongside all of the other students. And there are generations of alumni who come back to support their school. The old USC coach, John McKay, was once asked how his team maintained such good support in spite of being located in the same city as the Los Angeles Rams. His response to that was no one graduated from the University of the Rams. And along with the tradition of the school is the loyalty of that school to the community. Professional sports franchises move.
The San Diego Chargers are moving to LA. That community is given 50, 60 years of loyalty.
The Cleveland Rams then became the Los Angeles Rams, and then they moved again to St. Louis, and then eventually back to Los Angeles. These schools will never move. They've been in that same location for 100 years or so, and they will be for 100 more. So this week, 10,000 Nebraska fans are expected to make the journey across the Atlantic. With no pro teams in the state, Nebraska athletics is the only show in town. And that is the case with many states. At the top level of college football, there's 131 teams that come out of 41 different states. And if you compare that to the NFL, where there is just 32 teams from 23 states, that leaves many states without a professional team within their borders. Nebraska is known for having one of the best fan bases in all of college football.
The best fans in college football. I was shocked when I saw this much red when I walked in the stadium. I've never seen for a big game on another campus this many visiting fans.
Nebraska, to me, was the finest place I ever played and coached against because the people respected football there and they understood it better. That's why they're so good.
Every Nebraska home game has been sold out since 1962. That is 379 straight games over 62 years. The 85,458 people that Memorial Stadium can hold makes the stadium the third largest city in the state of Nebraska. And that's just the people inside the stadium. There's thousands more outside watching from parking lots and bars nearby. One of my favorite things about attending Nebraska was the game day experience. And specifically, I'm talking about the uniquely American pastime of tailgating.
We're good-natured people. All we want to do is tailgate.
Get your wine, get your beer, get ready to go, set your table up, and tailgate for hours.
There are many theories on where the term tailgating comes from. Some go back as far as the Civil War. But to me, the most likely comes from the early 1900s when Green Bay Packers fans would drive their vehicles up to the field because they weren't playing in stadiums and just put their tailgates down and watch from there. And naturally, they would bring along food and beverages. But now games are played in big stadiums, so the tailgates are forced to the parking lots and surrounding areas. Tailgating attracts people who are not even really interested in the game. They come for just the social and party aspect of it. It's something that you can count on whether your team is good or bad that year. You can't guarantee a win, but you can guarantee an experience. I imagine this weekend, that experience is going to look a little different.
Let's go, Huskers!
We got the boys in the overalls. We got Herbie right over here.
Yeah, yeah!
All right, quick recap of the whole experience. The game did not turn out as I or any of my fellow Nebraskans would have liked. That was very unfortunate. But the game day experience and everything else that came along with it was amazing. From the tailgating, which was really comprised of just going to a bunch of pubs in the Temple Bar area. They designated 3 of them in the Temple Bar for Nebraska fans and 1 for Northwestern fans. There was more than 3 times the amount of Nebraska fans compared to Northwestern fans here. That is why. Then you would walk to the game. Once you got closer to the stadium, there was another designated Nebraska bar, and just everyone was kind of out in the streets, drinking out. Traffic had shut down, and just a kind of a festive game day atmosphere. Something that happened during the game, during the first half, the internet went out in the stadium, so they couldn't process credit card payments. So for probably about an hour or so, they just made everything free. Instead of only taking cash and limiting the amount of people they could serve, props to them that they just literally gave everything away for free, which made crazy long lines. It was a really cool thing. Props to them for just really trying to make this experience, one of a kind, and it really worked. So hopefully, if you're European or you're just not from the United States, you maybe understand a little bit more about why Americans care about college athletics so much. And hopefully, if you're an American, you realize now that American football is growing and it's going to become a global game very soon, and expect more of these type of events to keep popping up probably every single year. Thanks for watching. If you guys like this video, I'm going to be doing similar type videos at the World Cup in Qatar coming this November. So if you want to see those, subscribe. Either way, next time you'll see me on here, I will be in Doha, so I'll see you there.